Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahabushai, Bahasham, Barakahak Barakatum. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and infinite honors to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahabushai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule and teach well. And peace and salutations to you sincere Akim out there, pushing this word and truth and sincerity to the four corners of the globe. May you brothers endure unto the end. This is the Brother Ra'aya coming at you with another lesson, and I'll be profiling a few minutes from this clip on 10 News' YouTube channel, which I believe may be a Australian, news channel, titled Eerie New Video Shows Chinese Robots Defeating U.S. And hey, what we're about to see in this clip is just going to be an example of what you Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, as well as you other heathens in America, you Edomites, so-called white people included, are going to be facing during Jacob's trouble when the powers that be really drop that hammer on you and have troops patrolling the streets. There's going to be chaos, famines, riots, and as we'll see, robots ready to put you down. So, like we tell you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, you better get your shit together because Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai is about to drop the hammer on you for all the wickedness you've been committing and show you no mercy. But this is a fair use copyright disclaimer. I do not own any of the footage in this clip, nor do I stand to gain from it monetarily. It is simply for educational purposes.
Now, we don't like to be too gloomy on this show, but two new developments have shown the pace at which our world is heading into peril.
One is the astonishing growth of artificial intelligence and robotics in military planning. The other is the possibility humans might not even control the decisions in any large-scale future conflict.
And I'm mute it right here because they're playing some music, so I don't want to get a copyright strike. But just look at the dexterity and the capabilities of these robots that the Chinese, the so-called Moabites, had performing at some event they had over there. It might have been for the Lunar New Year's or some event like that, but check it out. Weapons, a sword, doing kung fu, just graceful with it. But now see what they're about to play, because this is what ultimately what these robots were made for, not just over in China, but over in the U.S. as well. You've got Optimus, which is from Elon Musk's Tesla company, and then you've got all those robots from Boston Dynamics, which are able to, jump, do backflips, kick, and I even saw one breakdance.
Do with robots. There is no equivalent humanoid robot capability
Got some
in
nunchucks.
the West. Products, say some experts, of China's higher concentration of robotic production lines. And if that's all that's going on, that's okay. It's just a good show. But this vision hitting social media today, highly dubious in origin and probably AI generated.
And they say it's AI generated, and it could very well be. But I mean, in the previous clip, we just saw robots doing backflips, fighting with spears and nunchucks, and moving like a human. So how much easier would it be for them to run drills, hold assault rifles and the like?
Nevertheless, raises the question of what, at least potentially, will be the future direction of robotics. There is also freshly released...
Now this looks like AI though, but regardless, let's run that back. See it one more time.
But this vision hitting social media today, highly dubious in origin and probably AI generated, nevertheless raises the question of what, at least potentially, will be the future direction of robotics. There is also...
Hey, that's going to be the last thing, a lot of you Israelites and a lot of you heathens in America are going to see during Jacob's trouble. But this video is geared towards you Israelites, since you're the only ones that can receive salvation. And as a spirit, I'm sitting outside right now, and across the street, they got the police talking to a Jake, who's had the cops called on him several times before, and I can see him running his mouth and having an attitude right now. Well, times are coming where it's already a thing that gets you Jakes put down, but even more so. But this is Jeremiah chapter 30 verse 7. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it, and that he are the elect of the nation of Israel, who are spending this grace period right now, doing whatever they can to please Yahweh Bahashem Yahabushai, so that they can hope to have this protective hedge over them to be saved from these Moabites, robots, everything else that Yahweh Bahashem Yahabushai is going to be bringing through his sword, Esau, to judge you. And as it said, it's going to be a time like none other, which is further reiterated in Daniel chapter 12, verse 1. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people, Michael the archangel. And Michael in the Hebrew is Micah Allah, which means, all powerful. And the times are going to get so bad that even the archangel Michael is going to have to stand up in defense for the children of Israel, specifically the elect. But as it's about to say, and there shall be a time of trouble, Jacob's trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. So anything you can think about in history, any atrocity, any horror, any war, is going to pale in comparison to what's about to take place during Jacob's trouble. As we saw from that clip, they've got robots that are fully functional out here, and best believe they're going to be used. Something you would have only thought would have been in a sci-fi movie being your complete reality. And at that time, thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book. Again, the elect. But let's get back to that video. And, these Moabites, the so-called Chinese, are flexing by making, videos like this, showing them going head to head against the U.S. military. Which, if you go over to, the war in Ukraine right now, what do you got going on? Drones, a lot of drone, and robotic warfare taking place. So they're already, got these robots, being integrated more and more into the military. So how much more, during a time of martial law and especially World War III, the Battle of the Valley of
freshly
Jehoshaphat.
released today, Vision from a so-called science fiction movie where Chinese robots defeat an army with US.
And you see, this looks like complete AI, but that previous clip looking hella
Humvees
realistic.
and wearing US military camouflage. Few.
And again, fair use. I do not own any of the music or the footage in this clip,
People have
simply for
spent more
educational
time
purposes.
thinking about AI and robotics in war than Mick Ryan.
Well, it's certainly become a larger part of strategic thinking. We can build and deploy not hundreds, not thousands, but millions of drones over a short period of time.
The United States has a project called Hellscape, which the US Navy claims can race tens of thousands of unmanned ships, drones and submarines to defend Taiwan, if that's what President Trump wants. Is Hellscape real?
Hellscape's very real. It is a very real war-fighting concept developed by Indo-Pacific Command.
Now we're
And the
talking
aim of
about the other side of the
Hellscape is to
pond.
be able to undertake at least 1,000 engagements with the enemy every day in the Taiwan Strait with drones.
If that's the future of naval combat, where does that leave our AUKUS nuclear submarine program? $30 billion.
I will leave that there. But hey, that's spiritual that is called Hellscape, because that's exactly with these drones, these robots, as well as, flesh and blood, soldiers and mercenaries are going to be bringing to the streets of America, especially to you Israelites. Which, real quick. This is Revelation chapter 6. I'm going to start at verse 7. And when he had opened the fourth seal, I heard the voice of the fourth beast say, "Come and see." And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and on his name that sat on him was Death, and hell, the grave, the hellscape, followed him. And just as the red horse is speaking to Esau, this pale horse is also speaking to Esau, because these elites are about to bring great death and destruction, especially in America, to what? Foment that chaos in order to bring about the order. And power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth to kill with the sword, which your modern day sword is the gun. And as we saw in that clip, those robots, at least in the speculative AI, were more than capable of handling guns and running military drills, and with hunger, because famines are coming as well, and with death, and with the beasts of the earth. But let's go to Ezekiel chapter 21, start at verse 9. Son of man, prophesy and say, Thus saith Yahweh, say a sword is sharpened and also furbished, and it is sharpened to make a sore slaughter, such as during a time like no other. Jacob's trouble, it is furbished that it may glitter. Should we then make mirth? It contemneth the rod of my son as every tree. Verse 11, and he hath given it to be furbished, that it may be handled. The sword is sharpened, and it is furbished to give it into the hand of the slayer. And that slayer is speaking of the wicked in Psalms 17, verse 13, who is the sword of the Lord, Esau, Edom. Because, while that clip was dealing with, Chinese robots, like I mentioned earlier, you've got Optimus, which is a Tesla bot, and then you've got those Boston Dynamics robots. And all these robots that they're showing is just what the public can see. Best believe that what they're really going to be coming with is 10 to 20 years in advance and much more frightening. And hey, the spirit's rousing up out here. That Jake I was talking about across the street, hey, now it looks like the cops, he's been popping off his mouth. They're walking to the back of the house, and it looks like they're about to hem his ass up. But hey, Jake don't want to take heed to the words of the prophets of the times they're living in. So that sword is going to be given into the hand of the slayer, that it may glitter and make a sore slaughter one last time. It is furbished to give it into the hand of the slayer. Cry and howl, son of man, for it shall be upon my people, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. It shall be upon all the princes of Israel. Terrors by reason of the sword shall be upon my people. Smite therefore upon thy thigh. And best believe that this devil is going to show no mercy to you Israelites during Jacob's trouble. Hence why it's going to be a time like no other. And again, the Archangel Michael is going to have to stand in defense of the elect. But this is Revelation chapter 12, verse 12. Well, they just handcuffed Jake. So there you go. Therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe or destruction to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea. And you 2/3 Israelites who don't want to take heed to the word. Hey, and you heathens as well who have no goddamn chance. Oh yeah, they putting Jake in the patrol car. For the devil, that deceiver, Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, specifically the elites, is come down unto you having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. And these elites see the writing on the wall. You know, they're getting exposed as being the Edomites and the devil that the Bible speaks of. Look at what's going on with these EP files, even though that's just a drop in the bucket compared to what these elites are really doing. You know, the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers is becoming a household name. You know, people are seeing that these wars are bankers' wars and orchestrated, that these politicians are bought off. And what? They see Israel waking up and calling upon the names of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, at least among the elect. And then they see the prophets out on the highways and byways preaching this word, as well as putting up video epistles like this, chiefly the men of GMS or Great Millstone. And they know that when these things take place, whatever heathen nation that's ruling at the time is about to be taken out of power. And they know for a fact that they are the Edomites. So they're about to pull out all the stops to come down in great wrath to fulfill their NWO, that great RESET. And in between them getting in between here and them getting there, a lot of you Jakes are going to be slayed by that great sword given to the slayer. Which again, as we saw from that clip with, just straight up robots and drones being used, this is definitely going to be a time like no other. But this is 2nd Esdras chapter 16 in the Apocrypha. I'm going to start at verse 70. For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord, you Israelites. They, righteous and wicked alike. Because even though, our people, 2/3 of our people are out here, they still have some semblance of a higher power. As it says in Romans, I believe, chapter 10, they have wisdom, or they have knowledge. I'm paraphrasing it badly. They have a knowledge of the Most High, but not according to wisdom. They don't acknowledge, Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai truly. But verse 71, they shall be like madmen. That can include troops, whether foreign, domestic, mercenaries, as well as robots, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord, that great slaughter upon my people. For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses, coming to get you, kicking in your door, dragging you out, and sending you to a detention center somewhere, which we're already seeing that happen with ICE in the Northern Kingdom, you so-called Latinos, especially. And just recently they said more funding has been put up to buy warehouses to build ICE detention centers. But hey, the cops just pulled off with Jake in the back seat. So, hey, there you go. For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. Jake just now got cast out of his house. Verse 73. Then, actually, let me think. I was going to come back to this. Yeah, I'll read it. Verse 73. Then shall they be known who are my chosen, the elect, with the 1/3 in America. And they shall be tried as the gold in the fire. Because as it said in verse 70, that great insurrection shall be upon those that fear the Lord, the righteous and the wicked. The only difference is that the righteous will have that protective hedge over them. As it says in Zechariah 13, that one part is going to go through the fire and be tried and refined like gold and silver, but 2 parts therein shall be cut off. Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai is going to protect his elect and bring them through this fire, those that are found written in the book. Verse 74, Hear, O ye my beloved, saith Yahweh, behold, the days of trouble are at hand, but I will deliver you from the same. And when we got robots out here that are bulletproof and don't have emotions like humans and only go off of the programming they're ordered to, follow, we're definitely going to need Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai to defend us in that day. We're coming into the times of great miracles angels intervening for brothers, even more so than they already are now. And hey, some brothers getting spiritual powers, because how's a flesh and blood man going to fight against a robot or even a super soldier or some kind of secret project out here? But this is Isaiah chapter 59, verse 19. So shall they fear the name of Yahweh from the west. And where is the bulk of the elect? Over in the Western Hemisphere, in the United States of America, Babylon the Great, and his glory from the rising of the sun. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the spirit of Yahweh shall lift up a standard against him. Michael and the archangel standing up for thy people. Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai setting up that protective hedge around his elect. Then shall they be known who are my chosen. But now I'm going to close it out in Psalms 124. I'm going to read the whole chapter. And the header reads, Praise for rescue from the enemies, a song of degrees of David. If it had not been Yahweh who was on our side, now may Israel say, if it had not been Yahweh who was on our side, when men rose up against us, then they had swallowed us up quick like a flood, when their wrath was kindled against us. The enemy, the devil, coming down in great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. The only way any Israelite is going to make it through Jacob's trouble is with the protective hedge of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. It doesn't matter what kind of militia group you're a part of, how many different martial arts you know, how much prepping you've done with guns or bullets or food. That's going to be null and void in the times we're coming into. Verse 4, Then the waters had overwhelmed us, the stream had gone over our soul. Then the proud waters had gone over our soul. Blessed be Yahweh, who hath not given us as a prey to their teeth. Our soul is escaped as a bird out of the snare of the fowlers. The snare is broken, and we are escaped. Our help is in the name of Yahweh, showing the importance, which, some other camps like IUIC don't preach the importance of the name of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. There is no other name under heaven where ye may be saved. Our help is in the name of Yahweh, who made heaven and earth. Point blank, period. So before we get out of here, let's run this back one more time.
Now, we don't like to be too gloomy on this show, but two new developments have shown the pace at which our world is heading into peril.
One is the astonishing growth of artificial intelligence and robotics.
But this vision, hitting social media today, highly dubious in origin and probably AI generated, nevertheless raises the question of what, at least potentially, will be the future direction of robotics. There is also...
Hey, so with this video, I hope you sincere, Akim and Akwath were edified. Just keep strong. We are almost out of this final wicked captivity of the heathen nations, chiefly of the Edomites. And as always, I'm going to say Abad Babol, Kwam Yasharallah, and until next time, Shalom.